Hello and welcome to Is It Fast Live, the weekly program from the team at Is It Fast Media, where we handpick the news stories that tickle our pickle, that get our Santa Clausing as we head through our weeks in the world of automotive, motorsport, and frankly, anything with some sort of engine that gets us revving. It is, of course, the very last few weeks before we head into the festive period. So it does mean that myself and other Stu, well, this might well be the last time that we're sober for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And talking of non-drunk other Stu, how are you, other Stu? You all good?
I am very good, thank you, Stu. Thanks for having me back on the show.
I mean, I think you own 50% of this show, so I have to let you come back. It's contractually obliged.
I must say, I've read over the contract. I think it's like 49.8 or something like that. You do have the Murdoch type grip on what we're doing here.
This is. Do you know what? I can't deny it. I am a businessman for the ages. I'm an entrepreneur like no other. You've got to keep some sort of creative and or commercial control. But we are back just before the Christmas period, and it's been a rather busy week, isn't it? Since the last time we were on.
Yeah, a couple of things probably worth discussing, and which is ideal because we've got a podcast to discuss such things.
I know. We've been given a platform, and just to give everybody a bit of an idea of what things we will be discussing. I mean, first up, we are going to chat about Masi Madness. The F1 World Championship came to its rather interesting crescendo over the weekend. So we have a little chat about what happened there. The World Championship on four wheels wasn't the only thing to be decided over the weekend. There was also a Powerboat World Championship that was decided over the weekend as well, and we talk a little bit about that. Zoe's going to kill you. She's going to kill you. We talk about the Renault ZOE. And that was very Anna Partridge. We talk about the Renault ZOE and the lack of safety therein. The Porsche Cayenne has been given another lease of life. Vantage. Well, they are putting the V back into V12, which I must say during this day and age is quite an exciting thing. Hamilton may have lost twice over the weekend. We have a little chat about Hamilton watches in our Tick Talk segment where we talk about watchy things that go on your wrist. Tesla make it into our Is It Fast Live evening for not the first time this year. And we have a little thing to finish on that is creepy. And it's not either of us two, which is a little bit unknown. But shall we start talking about things that got everybody a bit uncomfortable over the weekend? And again, I'm not talking about us two.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot to cover, so let's crack on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we start this week with, it's impossible to avoid, the subject of the Formula One at the weekend. So I was in the air, not with Etihad, but with Emirates while the race was taking place, but I have since caught up. Max Verstappen versus Sir Lewis Hamilton on the Sunday afternoon. It was, of course, Max Verstappen that managed to wrap up the victory and therefore the world title over the weekend. It wasn't without conversation points. He and Lewis came to blows in the first lap. And of course, in the last lap, there was huge amounts of excitement as Max managed to overtake Lewis in the final lap after what could only be described as a small dropping of the rule book. But it does mean that the Dutch have got 2 racing world championships in 1 year. Max Verstappen is an F1 champion and De Vries is a Formula E world champion. Let's not forget about Nick De Vries, who hasn't managed to get himself a Formula One seat for next year, which is interesting. But there was an awful lot talked about online after the Formula One season came to its big ending. I don't know how I feel about it. I'll be honest with you.
I've got my notes in front of me, and we could probably do a whole podcast just about the F1 finale. Really, just another kind of quiet Sunday. Let's be fair. Fantastic start from Hamilton.
Yeah.
Much quicker reacting in a much quicker car than Verstappen. For me, Verstappen did try to force Lewis off the track. Lewis was then able to avoid contact. Didn't gain any real position on the track, but then had to kind of slow down to allow the Verstappen to get the time to catch up. Red Bull definitely not happy there. Hamilton pitting at lap 11. Sergio Perez being a real team player and holding Hamilton up. Something we maybe wouldn't necessarily say about Hamilton's teammate. For me, Bottas has maybe phoned it in a little bit since he found out he wasn't going to be there next season. Potentially maybe a bit harsh. Lewis stays out too long. He did raise the point a number of times on the team radio. And then Williams gets involved. Probably not how they wanted to, though. That Latifi crashes after a scrap with Mick Schumacher. In the closing
Mick
stages.
Schumacher keeping his father's 7-time record alive there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I never thought of that. That's a fair point.
Yeah. He thought going to let Lewis get the Ocho.
Yeah, I was immediately thinking it was going to be Perez that was just going to trolley himself into a wall for some reason. Obviously, Verstappen pits, gets even newer tyres.
Under the safety car.
Under the safety car. Yeah, sorry, this should be pointed out. Under the safety car. So obviously, time advantage, which I think they'd figured out that Verstappen had to gain 1.8 per lap to catch Hamilton. That wasn't going to happen, barring a miracle. These are the words of Red Bull themselves. Lap 56, cars will not be allowed to overtake. Lap 57, cars can overtake, is the new rule. No DRS, 4 laps after the safety car. And this is where the Masi Madness kind of comes into it. Toto, we need to go back to the lap before. Masi screams at him, it's called a motor race.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So this is the problem, right? I understand that rules, and we don't have a long time to talk about this tonight, but if you're going to unlap the cars, you unlap every single last one of them, right? You can't just do what you did there, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, and this is more a kind of, Mercedes got the tactics wrong, but you're leaning on the fact that the rules that are set by the FIA are going to be upheld by Masi. Michael Masi, for those of you who don't know, Michael Masi is the adjudicator, the clerk of the course, the race director from of F1, the Australian. Not that that's got anything to do with it, but he just is Australian. And just inconsistency that has marred this championship. Did Max deserve to win the World Championship 2021? Do you know what? On balance, he probably did. You know, he had a lightning start. If a tyre hadn't gone in Azerbaijan, he would have won that. And he would have got the points he needed. It wouldn't really be as close as we thought it would be. He's led for more laps throughout the season than anybody else. So, okay, fair enough.
Won more races and also led for the most kilometers as well.
So when you look at
24.
And he's 24.
This is awesome. Yeah.
My problem is, and this is purely my problem, I don't like Max Verstappen as a character. And do you know what? If I met him in a bar and had a chat, do you know what? I bet I'd probably get on with him. But in terms of how he comes across, like a lot of uber competitive people, I didn't like Michael Schumacher when he was racing. You know what I mean? Just a bit much. I just think, and it's unfortunate for Verstappen and it's unfortunate for Red Bull, the way that this season finished is going to constantly overshadow Max's first triumph ever in a world championship in terms of being a world champion for the first time ever. This is Red Bull's 5th driver title, first in, nearly 10 years. And it's just, he's going to have to do this 2 or 3 times for everyone to go, all right, fair enough, champion. The way that Lewis and his father responded to Joss and to Max at full time, I thought was a credit. I think the way
very respectful,
hugely, and Toto. I think the way that Max and Red Bull responded to Mercedes, credit. I think all the drivers and the teams acted with integrity when it would have been easier to go mental, and they didn't. The problem is, we're going to talk about this for a while. Mercedes lodged the appeal with the stewards, got thrown out. They've now lodged appeal where theoretically, at the time of this going out, we're going out live on Wednesday, 7 p.m. GMT. The problem is, if Mercedes lodge a complaint and they do go against the stewards at the FIA, which they very rarely do, but if they did, it also doesn't make Mercedes look that good. So it's kind of
it's a bit stamp the toys. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Reports are that Toto has actually messaged Verstappen to say congratulations, well deserved. Privately. That's been leaked out somewhere, whether it's true or not.
I think it probably is.
I think I'm not doubting that there wouldn't be respect and a message, but then it does kind of throw in the face of protest. But the thing is, they had to chuck the protests in early to allow them the kind of the 96 hours to be able to kind of either say, right, what are we actually doing here, guys? Now that the red mist is settled, now what are we going to do here? Let's decide. I hope they kind of put it to bed. I hope Max doesn't have the asterisk against his record due to the last race controversy.
Yeah.
But what a phenomenal season. Brilliant championship. 2 worthy would-be winners. Never shorts of incidents or controversy. Bring on F1 again. Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. Tell us in the comments, what did you think of the 2021 Formula One season? What did you think of the 23 races? Was it 23 that we had across 2021? Awful lot of races. Do you think that Sir Lewis Hamilton was robbed? Do you think that the rules weren't followed? Do you think that Max is a deserved champion? Do tell us what you think. It is a huge part, and I am, like you, Stu, very much looking forward to 2022. Obviously, we've got a whole new car. We're going to have all sorts of new challenges. We've got new drivers coming in across the grid. We've got a number of swaps. I'm particularly looking forward to Valtteri Bottas racing for Alfa Romeo. A big goodbye to Kimi Räikkönen as well. The Iceman, we probably won't see his like again.
Such a shame he had to pull up. The grandstand on their feet for him as well, going round.
Absolute legend.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolute legend. But, we're going to see some exciting racing next year. We've got the longest calendar ever, so we're going to have even more. But tell us, how did you find the 2021 F1 season? I thought it was a cracker. Franchement, I thought it was very, very good. But it's done, it's dusted, it's over. It's over. But they were not alone in the Emirates. So it wasn't just... this is going to be fun. It wasn't just the F1 boys in Abu Dhabi that were racing over the weekend to solidify a world championship. If you go around about 50 to 100 kilometers north of Abu Dhabi, you will find the gorgeous city of Dubai. And there was another world championship that was being decided in the Emirates last weekend as well. Take a little look at this.
The XCAT World Championship has arrived right here in Dubai. That's right, the city of glass and dreams is playing host to this season's grand finale. The championship race is truly on, and the city that gave us the Burj Khalifa is going to give us an XCAT champion.
Oh my God, that's me! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I was in Dubai last week.
In case he never mentioned it, just for anyone maybe tuning into the show for the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. All right, I was in Dubai. All right, stop talking about it. Okay, all right, I was in Dubai. In Dubai, it was the massive showpiece that finished up the XCAT World Championship. The XCAT is the top tier of powerboat racing in the world. The first 4 rounds were in Fujairah the week before, and then in Dubai there were 2 races, 2 pole position qualifying races as well to crown what would be a brand new world champion after the reigning champions Maritimo couldn't make it because they're Australian and it was a bit of a last minute thing. And it was Dubai Police who won the world championship. It's very close behind between Dubai Police and Abu Dhabi 5. It was hotly contested, exactly the same as the F1. Dubai Police managed to win their first race, meaning they were pretty much going to win the entire championship. They went into qualifying top as well on the second race and were then disqualified. Get this. Dubai Police were then disqualified and put in last place for the second race and final race of the World Championship XCAT UIM. That was on the wrong order. Because the pilot of Dubai Police touched his boat in Parc Fermé, a little bit like Max Verstappen did, and got fined 50,000 euros. Instead of fining them, they were simply disqualified from 1st to 12th, and they had to make it from last place, where they finished in 2nd.
Oh.
Yeah, in that final race where they ended up taking the entire World Championship. It was very, very close in the end. Incredible racing. I would highly recommend it. A massive thank you to Icarus, our partner production team, for making incredible content. A massive thank you to the people and to the organisers in Dubai for hosting such an incredible championship. But most of all, thank you to the drivers, the teams, the pilots, the administrators of the UAM XCAT World Championship for putting on an incredible show where it's a huge logistical job and operation, bringing 12 teams from around the world to the Emirates and racing on water. It sounds easy, but it's real tough. So there you go.
Sorry, everyone. Stuart's just sent me a note. So, Stu, what's that over your shoulder there?
I'm glad you asked me, Stu. Yeah. So this is what I got from the incredible organisers and team at the XCAT. Look,
that is so cool. What
Isn't
claw
that
machine
just...
did you get from?
Hey?
What claw machine did you get that from?
Mate, it's too heavy for a claw machine. Look at that.
I'm just jealous. That is beautiful. That's
Isn't it?
Stunning.
Isn't it? That. I don't know if it's some sort of tax loophole, so they didn't have to pay me. They just give me like a solid XCAT championship trophy. But
that's the kind of thing that Indiana Jones has to escape a boulder to get. That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. But I will be completely honest with everybody. I am a motorsport fan. Obviously, at Is It Fast and Is It Fast TV and Is It Fast Sport, we show live motorsport and highlights from all sorts of championships around the world. I took the job because I thought, well, this is cool, and then learned about the championship afterwards. If you aren't into powerboats, you should be. It is incredible. I've always had a penchant for water sports, Daily Mail, but the reality is that the racing is so tight. The paddock is incredible. They really do look at, and the coverage, not just because I was doing the commentary and the presenting, alongside a very talented young man who doesn't want to be mentioned, but John, who is an incredible commentator. The racing is incredible. You forget that it's on water, because you always think that boats and motorsport on the water, you kind of think it's maybe a little bit elitist or it's a little bit tough to understand the rules. Nope, not with the XCAT. They are all the same engines. They're all given the same equipment. Fair enough. Some teams might have a little bit of a bigger entourage than others because they might have slightly bigger sponsors. But the reality is, from a competitive perspective, the boats are the same. The engines are the same. It's kind of like top tier touring car racing on the water. If touring car racing and F1 had a baby, it's very glam like F1, but the racing and the competitive aspect of it is super close. It's incredible, and you should absolutely go onto the XCAT World Championship YouTube channel and watch the races back if you want, or stay tuned to Is It Fast, where we will have highlights of the racing in Fujairah, the first 4 races and the 2 races from Dubai. on Is It Fast's social media platforms and our website. So make sure that you do follow us on your social media platform of choice. If you're watching this on Facebook, follow us on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, follow us on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure that you, you can't really watch it when you're listening to it, but head over to the YouTube anyway. So there you go.
Now, you've got to tell me, and please be honest, when you stepped off the plane in Dubai, did your welcoming party look a little confused? Like, my theory is, and I'm sure quite a lot of our listeners' reviews will agree, they were actually expecting other stew. A little bit like the time Robinho stepped off the plane in Manchester and was really confused when he was handed a blue shirt, thinking he was signing for Man U. But bless them, the guys at XCAT, they are awesome professionals. They hid their disappointment well and just let you crack on with it.
It was a bit like I'd won a competition and a raffle to be there.
Yeah. How many cereal box tops did you collect to get those gigs?
Yeah, I also got a Tony the Tiger noise rattle for my bike at the same time.
I do have to say, though, congratulations to Dubai Police on winning. Obviously, a shortened championship, but the world as it is, still brilliant to see it hitting the water. I still think it was slightly unfair of them to have their colleagues on duty pull over the other boats to check on licenses and check conditions of propellers.
Yeah,
I know it's the time of year for it, but if you go on to the XCAT website, they have already said Championship 2022. We can't wait. I know I've been a little bit flippant with you, mate, but I've enjoyed watching the race action. Your coverage was absolutely brilliant from my dark, cold house in Kent, and I thought you did a brilliant job. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, hope we all get to go next year.
Yeah. Well, make sure you do stay tuned. The first round is in Q1 of 2022. I'm not going to give the date out because I don't want to steal the championship's thunder quite yet. I don't know if I'll have any part of it at this stage, but signs are good. But yeah, absolutely. And a massive thank you to the guys at the production team at Icarus who looked after me and put the imagery that you're watching right now together. It was an incredible job. It's not true what they say about the Greeks. They are lovely. And yeah, just incredible. Beautiful time, but competitive racing. Make sure that you do catch the highlights on Is It Fast or rewatch the action on the UIM XCAT World Championship YouTube page right now. Now that I've done tooting my own horn.
Yeah, we do not do that live on the podcast. They
not
were
anymore.
Very strict about that. Yeah,
not anymore. Ofcom were very, very clear on the guidance.
Ofcom are not cool. I think we've got to kind of put this out here.
They've got absolutely zero chill at Ofcom. I'll be honest. Make sure that you do follow us on your social media platform of choice. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you tell us what you think, and make sure that you continue to subscribe and download. So that you can hear us as well as see us. If you are watching us or listening to us live, please do tell us, what do you think of the show? What would you like us to incorporate into the show in the future? Or what do you think of what we've covered until this point? Remember, if you're watching us, you can see along the bottom what we still have to cover. And now we are going to cover safety because we are serious journalists. Aren't we?
It's hard to tell, but we are. Honestly.
It is hard to tell, but I promise you we are. But we're going to talk about the NCAP safety rating of the electric car from Renault, the ZOE. So the Renault ZOE, if you don't know, there it is getting absolutely demolished there. Not the first time ZOE's been smashed, but it's the one of Europe's most popular electric cars, and it's been given a 0-star safety rating in the latest round of the Euro NCAP crash test. This is actually genuinely quite worrying. The ZOE became just the third car in Euro NCAP's history to record a 0-star rating, 20 years after the Renault Laguna, a car which I drove, became the first car ever to achieve a 5-star verdict. So Renault, bits might fall off them and they might end up squeaking after a while, but they are fundamentally safe cars. The ZOE previously held a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, but was entered into the test following a substantial facelift last year, which we covered on Is It Fast. There's a new, bigger battery and extra power, but also the safety organisation notes show that the new seat-mounted side airbag that protects just the occupant's thorax rather than the head and thorax as it did previously. So it used to be the head and the thorax, which I think is here. Now it just covers the thorax rather than the head. So you can imagine during a crash, it's not going to be pretty. The change represents a serious degradation in the occupant protection, according to Euro NCAP sources. The Zoe is also said to lack active safety technology commonly, inverted commas, commonly fitted as standard, such as lane departure warning and standard fit automatic emergency braking. Front to rear crashes with injuries can reduce injuries of up to 56%, says research firm Thatcham, if AEB, automatic emergency braking, is fitted. Renault did say that they are going to be amending that and adding AEB, accident, crikey, automatic emergency braking as standard from 2022. But overall, the Zoe did achieve a 43% adult occupant safety rating. Pretty bad. So it just goes to show the small car made out of essentially a yogurt pot isn't safe. Go figure.
Yeah. It doesn't really surprise me. I used to go out with a girl called Zoe, and I can also confirm that she was also very dangerous. Anytime I've been out driving, though, I've very rarely seen kind of scaffolding on wheels driving around. So I don't know how accurate these positions are. I don't do a lot in the way of looking at the NCAP ratings and testing side of things, but it does surprise me that a car can go from a 5-star to a no star.
Yeah.
Obviously, the reasons that you kind of put out there. But the problem is here, people will now think that this is a very unsafe car, rather than one that does not have a lot of the most modern technologies and tech of avoidance systems. A big part of this was the lane swerve issue and things like that. And I know a lot of people that have these in their modern cars, and they turn them off because they absolutely hate them.
Guilty.
So that is a bit of a peculiar one, especially when any car company is going to send their car to NCAP. They are going to send the fully spec'd model and things like that. And it's going to get a 5-star rating, but the car you're buying is not maybe necessarily the car that was tested. Or am I being unfair kind of saying that? I don't know.
I don't know, if I'm honest. I think it's 50-50. I think the Zoe is probably not as safe as it was because they've removed some of the features, certainly in terms of the side impact protection.
The head airbags.
And I think in this day and age, you can't really go around doing that. It's a very odd decision to have made. Smaller cars, in my opinion, and this is just an opinion, are inherently more unsafe. They're small. If you've got more metal around you, you're more likely to be safer. That's just kind of how I feel about it. It's how I also justify having big cars in my life. It's a shame because, I don't know. They've listened to the NCAP recommendations. They're going to make changes. It doesn't make anybody who's bought a Zoe feel any better at this stage. The fact that, I'm like you, I don't really pay attention to the NCAP safety rating. I just assume that cars, and this is probably goes for most buyers of a car. Tell us in the comments if you feel the same. If you're buying a car, you're assuming that it has been made as safe as humanly possible. But I do own a Volvo. So and part of the reason that I've owned a number of Volvos over the years to do my dailying in, I guess, to a degree. I mean, I've had silly cars, and I do have silly cars now. But because it's safe. And it's not because I think I'm an unsafe driver. It's because I think other drivers are inherently unsafe. And it protects me from other people's inability to drive. I think if I was to buy a small car like this, and I don't think that it being electric has anything to do with it, it would have an impact on whether I buy it or not. I think if I hear no press about its safety, I assume it's okay. If I hear negative press about its safety, like we have done, and we are sharing about the Zoe right now, it would put me off buying one. I wouldn't buy a Zoe anyway because I think it looks like sugar. I think it looks awful. But at the same time, a zero NCAP is not a good look by anyone's standards, frankly. So tell us what you think, because
it's not for me, but I'd also say that this goes to show what a bit of a farce the NCAP testing regime has actually become. It's an organisation that's constantly muddying the waters, moving the goalposts. So
isn't that because standards move on, though? Sorry to interject. This is a bit like questions.
No, but
don't you think Of course, they're changing the
Dimbleby
goalpost.
pointing to the man without saying the word turban. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you I've been to Dubai? I think they have to keep moving the goalpost because cars are getting quicker. Driving is getting standards are getting poorer.
Yeah.
What happens then? It's not great. I don't know. Is this a Brexit thing? Euro NCAP. Give us a GB NCAP, and we'll see if it really is that bad. Tell us in the comments, Brexiteers. Do we? Oh God, We've gone 25 shows without me talking about Brexit.
We had a good run.
We had a good run. I don't know. I think the car is probably unsafe. I trust NCAP. I think
it probably is.
Trust
that wasn't a full kind of opinion. It was more of a chucking it out there.
Just like the kid's head, if you buy a Zoe, chucking it out of the rear view.
Yeah, it's not my kid though.
No, exactly. Yeah. We exclusively drive other people's children around. Tell us in the comments, what do you think of the Renault ZOE getting a 0 NCAP rating, going from 5 to 0 in the space of one facelift? Is this good news, bad news, indifferent news? Colours on my mast, don't care. Not going to be buying a Zoe. Not my issue. Not my Zoe. Not my issue. But we go from small, unsafe vehicles like the Renault ZOE to gigantic vehicles that probably are safe. Not sure about that, to be honest with you. But Porsche have been doing an amazing job recently of going back over their back catalogue of cars and retrospectively giving us options to make them better. They've done it with multimedia systems and infotainment systems, where if you've got a 911, you can go to your local Porsche dealer and they will install a brand new system to help you integrate with your infotainment system, essentially getting the same version as a 992 or a 991.2. Well, they've gone and done a similar thing with the Porsche Cayenne. So Porsche have given the first generation Cayenne a bit of an official rally-inspired makeover to promote the new range of personalization options available for older Porsche models across the range. They have released a pair of Cayennes that have been restyled and upgraded by the in-house classic division, gaining skid plates, chunky off-road tyres, rally-style wheels and spotlights, as well as a new retro-inspired decal packs, which you can see here. They're only... and the decal pack is the only part of this that you can actually order, by the way, for your Cayenne. They're putting the other features into the bracket of we'll see how it goes, and then maybe you'll have a chance.
Testing for feasibility. Yeah.
Testing for feasibility, yep. So the Porsche Classic range or department has revealed that other parts are also in the pipeline for different models. Chassis parts for the 996 generation of 911 and the 959 are in development, and new versions of the popular Porsche Classic Communication Management Plus infotainment system are being worked on for the 2005 to 2008 Cayman, Boxster and 911, as well as first generation Cayenne. They did also say a little bit cheekily, Dakar's coming soon. Dakar, of course, will be starting in January. Here's some Dakar looking stuff. Not entirely sure if Porsche are actually racing in the Dakar this year, if I'm honest, but there we go. So if you've got a Cayenne and you want to make it look a little bit Mad Max, but with style, then this is the option for you. I quite like that Porsche are going back across their range and giving people the opportunity to officially give them a bit of an upgrade, both in terms of inside and outside. What do we think of this?
I love it when we disagree. Yeah, if you need a car with a roof rack and a pop-up tent option, you don't immediately think of Porsche. For me, this is truly a midlife crisis on wheels, a kind of a sports utility type vehicle where you don't do any off-roading whatsoever. It's basically the car version of a pair of New Balance trainers, as far as I'm concerned.
I've got New Balance trainers.
If you'd like to put that in the comments, what do you think that Stu owns New Balance trainers? Please let us know. The black version looks like a squished version of the A-Team van with none of the coolness. It will get people in the door. I think you'll probably need deep pockets for it. I'm not a fan. Sorry, not
fair enough. Fair enough. I think the thing is, I've always been a fan of the Cayenne. I've not been a huge fan of the new Cayenne. And the fact that you can now go back and retrospectively make it look like this. Also,
What?
useful,
What use is this?
Right, okay, hear me out. I've thought about this. So,
Go on.
you can get an old Cayenne, 150,000 miles on the clock, 200,000 miles on the clock. Don't worry about it mechanically. It's probably sound, right? You can get one of those for about £2,000 to £5,000. Fact.
Okay.
Why would you be getting that? Either as a cheap run around and say that you've got a Porsche, fair enough, that's fine. I can see why you would do that. But also as a vehicle to support something else. The Cayenne, the original Cayenne, is now old enough and cheap enough that it can actually be bought as a support vehicle for, say, I don't know, a trials biker or some sort of weird off-road enthusiast motorsport thing that we're not into, but lots of people are. And you need to upgrade it so that it's truly off-road, but also looks the part. Well, suddenly you can do that. You're not going to do that to a 90 grand new Cayenne Turbo, are you? That's mental.
No.
But with this, you can go out and get a £4,000 Porsche Cayenne from 2008, probably cheaper than that. Go to Porsche and go, I need it to be a little bit better off-road because actually when my trials biker falls off and breaks his ankle, I'm going to have to drive him around and also kind of fancy having something that looks a little bit good to do it in. Bob's your uncle. You've got yourself a Porsche Cayenne that looks like that. It makes perfect sense when you apply my very specific New Balance logic to it. Then you're good to go. Peace!
I think my problem is I've never been a fan of the Cayenne. I want Porsche to stick to what they actually do. And that's my issue. I get that, though. These are very popular. You do see them going around.
Fine.
The fact it looks like a budget version of the Inspector Gadget mobile is...
You're only
anyone's
listing
guess.
positives. It looks like a shrunken A-Team van. Positive.
No, the shrunken bit is the bad bit. You do not want a shrunken A-Team van. You want the actual A-Team van.
All right.
I don't think we're going to agree on this one.
We're not. But tell us in the comments, what do you think of the Porsche Cayenne retrofitting opportunity that you can get directly from Porsche, where they add off-road tyres, off-road wheels, side slabs, and at the moment you can actually only buy decals that make it look like a cheap Halfords refit, admittedly. But is this going to give Porsche owners of Cayennes and people that want to get into off-roading with a Porsche, is it going to give them a good alternative to going to other providers outside of the OEM? Tell us what you think. But one thing that is not in question is when Aston Martin decide to release a new car. Frankly, they've done it really well. And this week, Aston Martin gave us a teaser of what might be to come in 2022. That was the sound of an Aston Martin V12. This week, Aston Martin revealed that it is highly likely that in the first half of 2022, they're going to give us an Aston Martin Vantage, Vantage with a V12 engine. So you can currently get the Vantage with a V8, which is, something that has been around for a while, in fairness. But now we can start to get excited about the fact that Vantage will have a final swan song, and that swan will sound like it's gargling on petroleum directly from the well, because it is going to be a V12. Vantage, of course, has had a long history of having a V12 engine. I personally am a fan of Vantage with a V8. I think it suits the model better. I think a slightly lighter block at the front is just better for performance and balance and real-world application, if I'm honest with you as well. The reality, in my opinion, is that it doesn't need a V12, but I know a lot of people disagree with me on that fact. What does everybody else think? And by everybody, I mean you, Stuart.
Oh, this already, even with a teaser, looks beautiful. Turn the key and heads will turn. I cannot wait to see this, hopefully in real life. This is where you mute me and kick me off the show forever and ever and ever. Am I allowed to say the body looks a little bit like a ripped version of the Ford Puma? that Steve McQueen drove in that ad years and years ago?
I mean, the Puma looks like. A lot of Ford looks like the front of a Vantage at the moment. The grille. So they have said that the grille's going to be bigger. So Aston Martin's kind of official release does say that one final generation in the V12 Vantage will return for one final time in 2022. There's going to be a bespoke front end with a much larger front grille, so you can tell it apart from the V8. Similar to the Vantage V1 edition. So the road-going, less F1 version of the F1 safety car and pace car that goes around the F1 tracks. There's going to be vertical intakes, and there's going to be and you can kind of see it in the image, a downforce enhancing front splitter, probably made of carbon fiber, as is the want of most people. But you can see there in this image, for those of you listening, there are 3 images there, Vantage in different states of time. So the Vantage over the last kind of 15, 20 years. I'm a massive fan of Vantage. I would pick Vantage over any other Aston Martin from the past or the present. I'm not saying that other Aston Martins aren't good cars. I think they're exceptional for a variety of different reasons. They're quirky. They've got soul. They're quick. They're stylish. They're a lot more. They're just classier than rocking up in a Rari or a Lambo.
Of course they are. This is a stunning car series. Even I could be a Bond girl if I owned this car.
Yeah, even you.
Even me, yeah.
Even you.
This is a good Christmas appeal. Stuart would like to meet a Bond girl.
There you go.
Even Dame Judi Dench at this stage. I'm not fussy.
Yeah, crikey, yeah, all day long. She sounds like a right
Silver Fox.
Silver Fox, yeah. But tell us in the comments, what do you think that Vantage is going to be getting a V12 engine in the front, much like its previous incarnations? Is that going to prove to be the final time that we see a V12 engine added to a new Aston Martin? Or do we think that Vantage really, that's the end of it? Aston Martin, as we know, have had a few tough years. They've had a tough existence from day dot, if I'm honest with you. But tell us what you think of Vantage getting a V12. And of course, the Aston Martin Vantage is one of the safety cars in the F1. And if you, like me, am an F1 fan and you want to keep up with what's been going on, then you probably need this application on your telephone.
Results Hub. All motorsport results, all in one place. And now there's an app. Take results with you on the go as we bring you the latest standings from championships around the world. And there's more. Use the app to see who is racing and where with our handy calendar feature. Download the app now. Results Hub. All motorsport results, all in one place.
That's right. All motorsport results, all in one place. It's a good song. All motorsport, it is good. All motorsport results, all in one place, thanks to Results Hub. Make sure that you do download it on your Apple iPhone if you've got one of those, or alternatively head to the website resultshub.com, where you can sign up completely for free and keep up to date with your favorite championships. It is that time. Every single week, we scour the internet for the latest from the world of watches and things that you may or may not choose to wear on your wrist. And this week, we have news from a different Hamilton. Take a look at this. Well, should have got paid by the studio there. If you've missed the cue there, Matrix-inspired watch. Stu, I know you've got a fair amount to say about this bad boy, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. This is the Hamilton.
It is the Hamilton PSR MTX. I don't know what the first bit stands for, but I'm guessing the M bit means Matrix. For those listening in, not able to actually watch the video, it is a dark black, kind of gunmetal grey metallic case and strap with a 4-digit green display with a black background, and that is friggin' it. They clearly spent a lot of time designing this. For me, it is as disappointing as the 2 original sequels of the Matrix films. This has obviously been tied into the new film that's coming out very soon. Keanu Reeves back in the role of Neo, very iconic in his career. Not quite Bill and or Ted, I can't remember which one he played. But for Matrix Resurrections, that is coming out very, very soon, Hamilton have partnered up. This is one of 99 that you can get. And it is £900 for this watch.
Oh my
exactly.
God.
Honestly, there's nothing being offered for this. There's no kind of fancy features. You don't push the button and you get to meet. What was the one? I want to say Carrie Fisher, but that was Princess Leia. Carrie something or other.
I don't know. I know who you mean though, but it's not happening.
I have seen the films, I promise. But for such a futuristic and inventive kind of film series, this is a really dull route. I'm a fan of Hamilton watches, but this is about as dull, boring digital as you can imagine. It doesn't even shine back to when we first got digital watches back in the late 60s, early 70s. If it was that, you've got the excuse. Everybody knows the idea behind the red and the blue pill is the choice between the willingness to learn potential unsettling or life-changing truths by taking the red pill, or by remaining in complete ignorance of the blue pill. I'm going to take the blue pill so I never have to see this disappointing watch ever again. That is how chronic this thing blooming is to me, especially for nearly £1,000.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is the sugar-coated version that I had to take out a lot of. I know producer Alex is with us tonight, so he's not got the bleep machine working for us.
So
it's a pass for me. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, it's a pass from me as well. I'm with you. I think Hamilton watches are great. We do have a Hamilton feature coming in the new year, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. But this is a hit and a miss, I'm afraid. Swing and a miss, rather. I thought there would be more to this. I was kind of waiting for. Okay, so and what? And there is no and what. £900, not worth it. I mean, I think someone probably said.
The feature for it is actually the back of the watch, where obviously you don't see any workings because it's digital, but it's got the very kind of cool Matrix green writing with Hamilton scribed in the back. But how often do you look at the back of your watch?
I don't.
You're not going to impress somebody wearing this to anything.
No, I'm with you. I think it's a swing and a miss. They'll sell out. There's only 99 of them. It won't be that tough. There's 99 Matrix fans in the world that will pay £900 for this, particularly when they start to see it on presumably Neo's wrist.
Yeah, $999, just to confirm.
It's $999.
So nearly 1,000 of these watches.
They might struggle at $999. I thought it was just
for such a popular film series. When we were doing our homework on Google Shopping, there was at least 5 or 6 shops saying, "Yeah, we've got this available."
Yeah, rubbish.
If this was stunning, it'd have been gone like that, under 1,000. Let's be fair.
No, not a fan. It is literally just you're paying for the word Hamilton. I think they've grossly, unless it's got an integral part in the film, which I doubt, because it ain't no Bond Amiga. I'm fairly certain this is not going to do as well as it can do. It's a shame because Hamilton are a great brand. They make some incredible watches. Again, we do have a Hamilton special coming in January. You've heard it here first, but it's not for me. Sorry.
They spend more time designing the packaging the watch actually comes in, which is lovely. It's part of the overall experience. It's part of the package for it. But at the end of the day, the box goes in the back of the cupboard and you wear the watch.
Yeah, exactly. No, unfortunately, sorry, Hamilton, not for us. The rest of your range, certainly. But as Stu very accurately put it there, not for us. Not great. So there we go. Tick, talk, ticked.
2 Hamilton losses this week. Ouch.
2 Hamilton. It really is 2 Hamilton losses this week. It's a crying shame. But we must move on as we are pressed for time. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't watched it already, that we have a RC car special currently doing the rounds on our website and on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you watch the video where we went down to the Remote Control Car Club of Barham, which is local to our county of Kent, to witness some high stakes electric car racing. It really was an experience. Make sure you do watch the video where you can meet some of the people, get some advice on what it's like to get into that kind of racing. It really was fun to go down there and see just how hungover Stuart was. But it...
you absolute grass.
Yeah, but you did a valiant job. Make sure you do watch that video on our YouTube channel or on our website, ASAP. It is an informative piece about how you can get into this, frankly, very accessible, but also incredibly community-driven sports. I must say, I had a great time when I was down there, and there are clubs all over the United Kingdom, which you should.
The guys there were absolutely fantastic, so welcoming to us, and just willing to kind of let us into their world, tell us all about the cars, tell us about their features, and the range it offers as well. These things, as a starter, are not ridiculous, and I think if you were to actually go along and want to get involved, they would be most welcome to you as well. They'd be able to give you great advice in getting beginning. We've been doing this for a while now. We have covered goodness knows how many watches. We've covered F1. We've covered touring cars, everything out there. This is the thing that people have got in touch with me most about. Yeah, and it's only been live about a week, and they've been asking me, "Oh, tell us about the remote control car. Oh, that was brilliant. Oh, really enjoyed that." So clearly, my presenting skills phenomenal. XCAT, if you are listening. But this has sparked a lot of interest, and once again, thanks to the guys at Barham. Brilliant. Thank you.
Incredible. Make sure you go and watch that video. But we head to the news that this week, police forces in the UK have been trialling the Tesla 3. So the Tesla 3 has been described as a mind-blowing cop car. They've been trialling the Californian-born motor vehicle for the last 9 months and said that they've had great results. The fully electric vehicle can be used for 4 hours in advanced driving conditions, so high-speed pursuits, I imagine. Officers have been recharging the car during shifts, taking 20 minutes to boost batteries. It's being potentially rolled out nationwide by forces, but they do say that they're going to lose the roof bars there that you can see. So if you're listening to this, it's essentially a Tesla 3 made up to look like a police car that they have been using. It's just interesting that EVs are being considered now by police forces. The BMW i3 has already been used by some police forces across the country. I'm not personally aware of any other EVs that are being used by police forces, but it's nice to see, police cars are on the road quite a lot. I can imagine that their emissions aren't great. They're obviously using a lot of fuel. Good to see that they're thinking about sustainability within their communities. And the Tesla 3 makes quite a good-looking cop car, if I'm honest with you.
It really does. Big thing that jumped out for me on the article, press release for it, whatever we want to call it, a 70% charge thanks to the V3 supercharger system in 20 minutes. Now, that is kind of the shift change for officers coming in, swapping over with colleagues, things like that. Absolutely fantastic. And it's only really going to cost them less than about £20 to fill this up. Now, compare that to traditional combustion engine police cars. Very interesting. Top speed, 162 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in was it 3.1 seconds?
Yeah, it's pretty rapid,
very like these cars are very quick. You should see how quick. Good friend of the show, Gary. Used to be called Mustang Gary. I think we're going to have to call him Kessler Gary. Unfortunately, managed to reverse his into a wall the other week. Thankfully, he did blame his wife on that when he took it into the garage to get it fixed. So I hope that went down well, Gaz. However, I would love one of these if I wasn't paying for it. But I am a taxpayer, so I will be paying for it. Do you think that entitles me to a go? And the rest of the viewers, listeners?
I mean,
maybe a shot in the back. Who knows?
Yeah. Tell us in the comments. Do you think the Tesla 3 and EVs should start being rolled out nationwide for police forces? Do you look forward to being chased by a Tesla in the near future.
You've got to be honest, though. I can't wait to be watching police cam in action to watch one of these run out of battery.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen.
Funny, yeah.
Channel 5, we're willing to test these because that's where they end up. But tell us in the comments, what do you think of the Tesla 3 becoming a police car?
My favorite thing I saw about this was, and I can only imagine somebody kind of frothing at the mouth while shouting this: "Let's get bobbies on the beats, not bobbies on the batteries." So there you go.
God,
there's an opinion. Stop treating drivers like criminals and second-class citizens.
Yeah, whatever. So talking of battery-powered things, we finished this week with something a little bit odd. Well, I mean, we seem to do that every single week.
And we start in middle as well on that as well.
Yeah, that's true. Talk us through what we're watching right here, Stu.
Effectively, we are watching a tiny robot horse pulling some kind of cart type thing. With it, this is from our good friends at Boston Dynamics. I can only imagine this is the Amish division, but they are doing some phenomenal work. Well done, Jebediah, out there. I do want to say to our future robot overlords, I do want to distance myself from this entirely, this robot slavery. I do not support it or endorse it in any way. It's phenomenal. It basically has to be the past meeting the future, the most inefficient, most expensive, but still the most awesome way to travel.
It is. Shout out to Adam Savage, who's the YouTuber that put this together. Thank you very much for letting us use your footage. We didn't ask for permission, but we're assuming because you put it on the internet, you want people to talk about it. This is robot horse carriage, but I mean, it's essentially the same as the robot dog from Dynamics, isn't it? Boston Dynamics. But as soon as you strap it to a carriage and grow a beard and denounce technology, you can become a robot horse Amish man.
Do you think the top hat comes with it? If not, I'm not interested.
I know, yeah. I only want my robots to come with free top hats. Otherwise, I'm just not game. But there you go. It just shows that you can put anything on the internet and people like you will find it. So that's a worry.
I think the thing that lets it down here, that they have to put little kind of horseshoes on it to get the full experience, or have somebody running along beside you with like a couple of coconut shells.
Bit, just full Monty Python style.
Yeah.
But there we have it. Boston Dynamics. Did he loan? Do we know if he loaned it or he didn't? He doesn't look like he bought it. That's for sure.
Oh no, I think he was. He is a fantastic YouTuber. He does a lot of this kind of crazy stuff. We're just jealous. He definitely got to play with this and kind of thought, right, what's the most old timey way I know? Let's get it pulling a rickshaw.
Yeah,
it's effectively what we've gone for.
It's effectively what we've gone for. But thank you very much, Adam Savage, for bringing us something that frankly isn't really enhancing my life in any way, shape, or form. But it is fun to watch. It's had over 3 million views.
There you go, and I cannot wait till Peter's cyber division gets a load of this. Just remember, people, robot animal lives matter too.
They do matter too. But it is with the robot horse that we have to finish this week's Is It Fast live podcast. The podcast where we go live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. GMT to bring you the hand-picked stories from the world of motorsport, automotive, and as you've just seen there with the robot Dynamics horse that was pulling a cart, things that move under their own propulsion without being pushed. Thank you very much for everybody who has watched us live on this rather dark Wednesday night as we head towards Christmas. To all of those who have listened to us via their ears, thank you ever so much. Do please tell us in the comments, what have you thought of tonight's show? We are always happy to hear from you. And if you haven't already, make sure that you do follow us on your social media platform of choice. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and make sure that you do download the podcast on your podcast provider of choice. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much to everybody for being part of this journey with us this week. Thank you, of course, to Stu for making sure we talk about things that are interesting. Thank you, mate.
Try my hardest.
You do. It's not always the best, but you do try hard, and that's all you can give. And thank you very much. Until next week, where we are ridiculously close to Christmas, Thank you ever so much. Have a lovely week. Make sure that you do stay safe and away from crowded spaces. And we shall catch you next week. Good night.